Now you have given birth to that little cute child of yours, and you're confused about what to do with this child. You don't even know how to bond with this child. Don't worry, I got you. This video will be talking about how to bond with your child from pregnancy down to adulthood. If you're interested, definitely need to keep watching. Hi everyone, my name is Chidera Wanzo, aka Tips Mama. Oh yeah, because I actually believe there's an easy way to do life, especially parents. If you are new to this channel, welcome. Then if you're a returning subscriber, you know I love you. So without further ado, we'll talk about how to bond with your child. Let us look at why do you need to bond with this child. Number one is that bonding with your child makes parenting easy. A child listens to you more at the basis of friendship when he feels he's safe and comfortable and you have his good at heart. One thing bonding does is that it makes parenting easy. The second one is that it helps build a healthy self-esteem and confidence in your child, and it prevents emotional and mental issues. Research has proven that when a child is emotionally connected to the parents, this child tends to grow to become a healthy adult and is at lower risk of having mental issues such as depression, suicidal ideation, and so on. So when you're able to connect with your child, this child becomes a healthy adult with emotional balance. Then the third one is that it improves a child's social skill and ability to cope with life. Psychologically, bonding with a child helps the child know how to relate with others outside the home, and it also gives this child more resilience and strength to deal with life crises. It gives this child an assurance that daddy and mommy got his back and this child is safe. So bonding with your child is a very sure way to help your child grow. So having known why bonding is very necessary, let us look at 5 stages of a child's development. The first one is infancy, which is from 0 to 12 months or 1 year. Then the next stage is the toddler, which is from 1 to 3 years. Then we have the preschool, which is 3 to 5 years, the school age, which is 6 to 10 years. Then we have the adolescent, which is 11 to 19 years, and so forth. Let's look at from pregnancy down to infancy. When a woman is pregnant, the best way to bond with the child is number one, responding to the child's kick. It's okay to massage, rub, and caress your stomach when the child kicks. It helps in bonding. Then the second one, playing music and singing music to the child. It helps the child recognize your voice even from the womb. Yeah, it's actually true. It is not only limited to the mother, it is also applicable to the father. The next one is to talk and read to the child. It's okay to read and talk to the child. Research shows that when a parent read and talk to the child, even from the womb, it helps the child recognize the voice, and secondly, it can help in cognitive development. Let's look at the infancy stage when this child is born. The best way to connect with this child is through eye contact. When you're carrying the baby, you're actually looking at the baby's eyes, you're cuddling the baby. These are ways to connect to the child. So eye contact can be very helpful. There's this hormone production between you and the baby, helping in bonding. Then the next one is breastfeeding, whether it's exclusive breastfeeding or bottle feeding a child. It has a way of connecting you and bonding you to the child too. Then the next stage is the toddler stage. About one way to connect to a toddler is by playing and communicating with this child. Now it can be through eye to eye contact, cuddling, making funny face, smiles. Now when it comes to playing with this child, with time the child begins to respond, start smiling. But when a child starts giving you cues that he's tired, like maybe the child starts giving signs, start removing his face, these are basically a sign that the baby is giving to you that he's getting tired. And after these subtle cues, the next thing is the child start crying, because this is a way of communicating that the child is tired. So the child also communicates out as well, not just you. The next one is non-verbal communication. You can learn to hug this child more often, kissing, self-affirmation, telling this child that mommy loves you. Even though the child doesn't communicate back, he's bonding with you with time gradually. The next thing is doing things together. At 2 to 3 years, this child wants to be actively involved in your life. Time to time now, the child wants to wash plates, he wants to carry out things. That's not the period to chase him away or to tell him to wait. You begin to give the child small things to do in order to help him. The child wants to feel like an adult. This is another good way to bond with this child. When you begin to give him small responsibility, depending on the capacity, you can actually tell him, baby, you can't get this, or you call his name, go and help me get this. In doing something together, you have to be very, very patient, because it can look like the child is wasting your time. You feel tempted to collect the stuff from the child and start doing it, but don't do that. You have to wait for this child, because that's how the child develop and bond with you emotionally. And the next one is let them teach you and be a good listener. At this point, this child is having what we call selective hearing and listening. So you might as well teach the child and the child will listen, but most times the child might likely not listen to everything, especially when it's long. The best way to get the child attention is by letting him teach you. You can start with what he likes, what he enjoys. If he likes a particular cartoon, you can allow him talk about it. If he likes a particular thing, maybe drawing, you can introduce some activity to him, buy materials for him to help him connect. This is a way to bond. In that situation now, he can listen to you to teach him, because he feels that you are participating, you are enjoying what he's telling you, and it makes him feel good. Then the next one is ask for help and their opinion. In asking for their help and opinion, give them a sense of belonging and active involvement in your life. And by so doing, also improves the bonding between you and the child. Then the next one is have a time out together with the child. Find activities that are interesting between you and the child, which you can involve in. In doing so, it helps in bonding you. It helps in having a means of interaction with you and this child. There are so many activities you can do with a child. You can stroll together, you can do exercise together, you can watch movies, you can read books, you can go for an indoor or outdoor picnic, you can do dancing, you can sing together. There are a lot of activities depending on this child you can actually involve in. Next one is balancing your screen time. So when I talk about screen time, it's about your phone. A research was taking place and it was discovered that why parents are distracted in child raising is because of the amount of time they give to their phone and their business. Not like you should not use phone, not like you should not be doing business, but let there be a balance between the two, so you can actually give this child a time. It's okay to drop phone and listen to the child when he comes to you asking for something. It gives this child a non-verbal communication of I value you and you are more important to me than anything. Let's talk about the preschool, the school age and adolescent stage. This child is moving from socialization within the house to the outside home, where he begins to meet friends, he begins to communicate with people outside. And secondly, this child is moving from dependency to interdependency. He wants to make his own decision. He wants to be in control. At this point, your level of bonding with this child changes. And number one way to bond with this child is, first of all, you have to study the child. At least from the stage of infancy to toddler, down to when this child is entering preschool. You begin to study to know the kind of a child, because every child is different. The way you treat an introvert is different from an extrovert. You have to study your child's temperament, your child's weakness, strengths, all that. We'll be talking about it in the next video. So the next thing you need to do is that you need to respect your child's opinion. The respecting of a child doesn't mean you should take everything this child says, but that also means you have to respect his ideas. A child's idea is not totally wrong, only that he sees from a lower point of view. Now, as a parent, you are there to acknowledge his feelings, one, and secondly, help him with wisdom to decide and make a better choice. Respect is very, very important, especially to your adolescent or teenager. The next one is you should do more of listening and talking. If you can do more of listening as a parent, you've been able to solve half of the problem. Because when you listen to the child, you know what is wrong and how to help this child. So do more of listening than talking. Then listen with a point of understanding, not a point to react or counteract the person's action. Next one, you have to discipline with love. I'm working on making a video on discipline, because we need to balance discipline and correction. When you are disciplining a child, you can't discipline a child without first of all telling the child, educating the child on what to know. So now in discipline, you have to discipline with love and never discipline with abuse, verbal abuse. It has a way of totally disconnecting you with your child. So you have to discipline with love. Next one is managing your emotion and making use of non-verbal communication. In managing your emotion, especially for that of teenagers, there are a lot of things they are going to tell you, ranging from having crush to falling in love, and your natural instinct is to overreact and to be surprised. But you have to manage your emotion, from the tone of your voice down to the body reactions, because there are all watching it. And remember, if you're not able to handle the first one, they won't be able to tell you the second one. So learn to manage your emotion. Then the next one is about non-verbal communication, like hugs, kissing, patting the person at the back. All these non-verbal communication are very important, because as the child increases in age, there is more tendency for the emotional attention to start dropping. So, but as a parent, remember to encourage, hug your child, and make the child feel loved. The next one is discover your child's area of interest and be their number one cheerleader. For instance, if your child is in love with drawing, don't start thinking, so I won't buy for him drawing materials, so you'll not become an artist. Even if he doesn't end up being an artist, it helps in development, it helps in bonding. On that ground, the child can tell you anything you want to know. You have to hear from their own perspective. Lastly, you need to create a favorable environment for this child. A child can feel relaxed and tell you things when he's in a conducive environment, when he doesn't feel judged. So it's okay to bring out a family time where you can ask the children for their opinion, even down to how you are training them. Is there anything you feel that we need to work on? Is there anything daddy and mommy is not doing well? Then with love, correct them and tell them why you are doing so. It helps them bond more with you. It helps them feel love, that everything you are doing is from a perspective of love and not punishment. You must come down from your highness seat to their level if you really want to bond with the child. Yes, you can still be a friend and discipline your child properly. As a man, bonding with your child might not come naturally, just like how it comes for the women. I've brought up 5 ways to connect with your child. The first one is by feeling the kicks or responding to the kicks of the baby. You can actually hold the stomach, sing and talk to the child, even read to this child. It helps this child bond and recognize your voice. Then the second one is be actively involved in taking care of this child. There's nothing wrong changing diapers, feeding the baby, bathing the baby as a father. It has a way of bonding you with the baby too. Then the third one is playing with this child and carrying this child more often. When the child keeps seeing your face time to time, he will start recognizing and bonding with you. And when you play with this child, it creates a wonderful moment in the child's memory. Then the next one is having a time out with your children outside the normal general family group discussion. Maybe as a father, it's okay to have a time out with your daughters, talking with them, teaching them what is more significant, hearing from you, getting to connect more with them, talking about topics that will be more appreciated, hearing from your own perspective. For instance, issues on relationship, on sex education tend to feel good when father and daughter discuss about it. Then the last one is try showing up for events. For instance, graduation parties, school runs, convocations, hangouts, Bible study, eating together. All these things has a way of connecting and bonding you with the child. That's all for today's video. If this video was very helpful to you, please do well to like, share, turn on the notification bell, and comment in the comment section. Till we meet again. Bye.